Before glass bottles or industrial alcohol ever existed, medieval India already knew how to trap eternity in a scent, using only sandalwood and water. In the clay houses of Kannauj, fires burned for days as steam curled through bamboo pipes, distilling what they called atar, the breath of flowers and sacred wood. It was not perfume for seduction, but an offering, a fragrance made to be remembered by gods and mortals alike. In ancient India, scent was not merely pleasure, it was prayer. To the followers of Hinduism, fragrance was believed to bridge the mortal and the divine. When the smoke of burning incense rose through temple air, it carried with it human devotion, whispering to gods who could not be seen but could be reached through aroma. Among all materials, sandalwood, chandan, stood above the rest. Its fragrance was said to calm the mind, purify the spirit, and cleanse a place of worldly dust. To carve or grind sandalwood was an act of meditation, and to wear its essence was to carry serenity upon the skin. Perfume making in India was not born from luxury but from ritual. The preparation of scented oils, balms and incense was tied to acts of worship and purification. Every drop of aroma was a sacred offering, not a product of vanity. In early Sanskrit texts like the Atharva Veda and Charaka Samhita, scent appears as medicine and sanctity alike, healing wounds, soothing the heart, and invoking divine favour. The air of ancient temples was thick with sandalwood smoke, jasmine garlands and rosewater, a fragrance that still lingers in Indian spirituality today. In this culture, to create perfume was not to capture beauty, but to reveal it, to translate the invisible soul of nature into something that could be felt by the senses. By the 7th century, the northern Indian city of Kannauj had become the beating heart of the subcontinent's perfume craft. Lying along the Ganges, its humid air and abundant flowers made it the perfect cradle for distillation. Here, generations of artisans passed down secret recipes of atar, teaching sons and apprentices how to read the breath of petals, the patience of wood, and the dialogue of water and fire. Each family guarded its formula as a sacred inheritance, never written, only whispered. Kannoj's perfume houses were modest earthen courtyards, not palaces. Yet from these humble workshops came fragrances destined for emperors, saints, and brides. Sandalwood, rose, jasmine, and vetiver became the notes of both worship and celebration. Unlike European alchemists who later relied on alcohol, Indian perfumers of Kannauj used sandalwood oil as their base. It was not only a stabilizer, but a living soul, a substance believed to hold memory itself. The art of distillation, known locally as deg-bhapka, became Kannauj's identity. Copper stills, bamboo pipes, and clay furnaces were all arranged with ritual care. For days, water simmered over gentle flames, capturing the spirit of flowers into droplets that cooled in the night air. Over time, Kannauj earned its name as the perfume capital of India, a title that still echoes today. Even now, when modern factories bottle scents by the million, the perfumers of Kannauj continue to work the old way, by listening, by waiting, by letting water dream through wood. At the heart of every Indian perfume lay the most sacred of woods, sandalwood, known as santalum album. In medieval India, it was rarer and more precious than gold. The tree grew slowly, its fragrance maturing over decades. Only after 30 years could its heartwood, pale golden and sweetly aromatic, be harvested. To the artisans, this wood was not merely material but a living memory of the forest. When freshly cut, it released a scent that was both cooling and warm, like moonlight trapped in resin. Its fragrance was believed to comfort gods, soothe fever, and cleanse the spirit of pride. The best sandalwood came from the forests of Mysore and Tamil Nadu, where humidity and soil nurtured trees with deep, enduring aroma. Traders carried logs northward to Kannauj, wrapped in wet cloth to preserve their scent during the long journey. Once there, perfumers chose the inner core, the heartwood, and carved away the outer layers. The pieces were dried in shade, never in sunlight, for heat could burn away the delicate oils. In every workshop, the air smelled faintly of resin and devotion. For the perfumer, sandalwood was both the body and the soul of every atar. It did not compete with other scents. It embraced them, carrying their whispers across time. Without sandalwood, no fragrance could truly endure. The process began with a sound. The slow, rhythmic grinding of sandalwood against stone. Artisans mixed clean river water with the wood powder until it formed a smooth, fragrant paste. For days, the mixture was left to rest in clay pots, allowing moisture to draw out the oil hidden in every grain. When the time came, the paste was transferred into large earthen cauldrons called deg. These were sealed with clay and wrapped in wet cloth to prevent the steam from escaping. Beneath them, a low fire burned, never fierce, always steady. The fire had to breathe gently, for haste would ruin the scent. As heat awakened the mixture, the water inside began to speak, bubbles forming, steam rising, carrying the perfume of wood and time itself. The artisans listened as though to music. Too hot and the fragrance would die, too cold, and it would never be born. Beside the cauldrons, a second vessel waited, a copper receiver immersed in cold water. Through a bamboo pipe, the vapour would travel from one pot to the other, condensing into droplets. Each step was sacred. No machines, no metal pipes, only water, clay, fire and patience. The same elements that shaped the world now shaped its scent. This was the heart of Kannauj craft, the deg-bhapka distillation, a dialogue between heat and breath. The deg, a rounded clay or copper cauldron, held the soaked sandalwood paste. The bhapka, a smaller receiver, rested in a cool water trough nearby. Between them ran a single bamboo pipe, the humble bridge through which fragrance would travel. When the fire beneath the deg began to glow, the scent of sandalwood rose with the steam. Through the hollow bamboo, the vapour carried its sacred essence across space, cooling and condensing into the waiting bhapka. Inside that receiver, drops of liquid gold formed, part water, part soul of the wood. The artisans worked in silence. They sealed every joint with clay, adjusted the fire with a palm fan, and watched the flow of droplets like monks reading prayers. Each distillation lasted hours, sometimes days. At night, the fragrance of sandalwood mingled with the stars, filling the air of Canoj with invisible poetry. There were no modern metals, no pressure gauges or electric heat, only skill and faith. The process could not be rushed because the scent was alive, and in every drop that condensed inside the bhapka, centuries of devotion were reborn, distilled not just from wood and water but from time itself. When the condensation stopped, the artisans gently opened the bhapka. Floating on top of the collected water was a thin golden layer of pure oil, the essence of sandalwood and steam intertwined. This was the perfume's heart. To preserve it, they added freshly distilled sandalwood oil, a base that gave the fragrance longevity and warmth. Unlike alcohol, which evaporated quickly, sandalwood oil held memory. It allowed the scent to live on skin for days, sometimes weeks, deepening with the body's natural heat. This union of steam and oil became known as atar, from the Persian word meaning essence. It was perfume without alcohol, chemistry or artifice, a completely natural fusion born of patience and reverence. A few drops were enough. Worn on the wrist, behind the ear, or on the hem of a garment, it glowed like a quiet flame. The scent evolved slowly, whispering through the hours, never overpowering, always human. To many, atar was not just fragrance, it was prayer in liquid form, a reflection of one's inner balance. Each bottle contained more than aroma. It held the spirit of rivers, forests, and centuries of hands that had learned to turn breath into memory. In medieval India, perfume was not constant. It changed with the rhythm of the seasons. The artisans of Kannauj believed that scent must harmonize with the air, the body, and the soul. Each month, the monsoon, the dry heat, or the cool winds demanded a different fragrance to balance human temperament. In spring, gulab atar, the rose essence, was distilled from fields of blooming petals. Its fragrance symbolized renewal and divine love. During the humid summer, sandalwood and jasmine were preferred for their cooling touch on the skin and spirit. Chandan atar, pure sandalwood, was believed to calm the body as temperatures soared. When the monsoon rains came, the perfumers turned to kus atar, made from vetiver roots. Its scent, earthy and damp, carried the aroma of rain-soaked soil, the petrichor that united humans with the land. In winter, heavier blends with amber and saffron warmed the air and protected against the chill. Each atar was more than fragrance. It was medicine, meditation, and memory. Its purpose was not to cover scent, but to align it with the world outside, to wear the wrong atar in the wrong season was to disturb one's inner balance. Thus, the perfumer was also a philosopher of air, reading the weather, the body, and time itself. When the atar was ready, it was never sealed in grand bottles or labelled with brands. Instead, it was kept in small glass flasks or bamboo vials wrapped in silk cloth to protect it from sunlight. Perfume was never sprayed, it was touched. A drop on the pulse of the wrist, a trace on the collar, or a dab on the brow before prayer. Each gesture was intimate, almost devotional. In homes and temples, the scent lingered on fabrics, on skin, on the pages of sacred texts. People believed that fragrance could purify space, calm the mind, and even heal sickness. Physicians of Ayurveda prescribed certain atars to ease anxiety or fever, blending aroma with the rhythm of breath. Women anointed newborns with sandalwood and rose oils to bless their lives. Travellers carried small vials in their robes, believing the scent would protect them from evil or fatigue. Every drop was used with intention, not to display wealth, but to express inner harmony. To the people of medieval India, fragrance was not a luxury, but a quiet prayer that followed them wherever they went, a sacred whisper on the skin reminding them of who they were. In temples across medieval India, atar was more than scent, it was sanctity itself. Before dawn, priests rubbed sandalwood paste upon the statues of Vishnu, Shiva and Lakshmi, believing the gods would awaken through fragrance. The air shimmered with the smoke of incense, the soft bells and the steady murmur of prayers carried by perfume. During Hindu rituals, a drop of atar anointed the forehead as a mark of purity. In Sufi and Islamic traditions, it was applied before namaz, prayer, as a symbol of spiritual cleanliness. Sufis believed that fragrance opened the soul, dissolving ego, allowing one to feel nearer to God. In weddings, atar became the invisible blessing. The bride's garments were perfumed with rose and sandalwood, representing love, patience, and continuity. In funerals, sandalwood oil was used to anoint the dead, guiding the spirit gently to the next world. Beyond temples and ceremonies, atar was exchanged among friends, scholars, and poets as a gift of respect. To offer someone fragrance was to recognize their inner beauty, not their appearance. Across faiths, Hindu, Muslim, Jain, or Buddhist, the language of scent united people. It reminded them that the divine was not distant but could be felt in the most human way, through breath. Perfume in medieval India was not created for seduction, it was created for remembrance. Each drop of atar captured a dialogue between earth and spirit, between patience and prayer. It was an art that belonged not to the marketplace, but to eternity. In a world now filled with artificial fragrances and mass-produced bottles, the atar of old India still speaks, softly, patiently. Its voice says that purity is not in the scent itself, but in how it is made, in the reverence with which hands touch water, wood, and fire. A single whiff of sandalwood can still evoke that forgotten world. Clay houses breathing with smoke, copper pots murmuring in the night, artisans watching droplets form like dewdrops of time. They worked not to impress, but to connect, with gods, with nature, with the essence of being alive. To smell an ancient atar today is to inhale history itself, a reminder that even fragrance, when born from devotion, can outlast centuries and become the memory of a civilization that worshipped both scent and silence.